and welcome to NJ Thrive Small Business Webinars. You are attending one of our weekly webinars created to help New Jersey small business owners start, grow, and thrive. My name is Uzma, I'm a consultant here at NJSBDC. NJSBDC stands for New Jersey Small Business Development Centers. We are a network and a statewide program powered by the SBA, Small Business Administration, and partners to help small businesses in New Jersey with three main things. And those things are no-cost small business consulting, training and events just like this one, starting at $0, and exclusive small business resources. When I say no-cost small business consulting, that of course applies to the residents and small business owners of New Jersey. And on the map over here on the right, you can see that is, of course, the map of the state of New Jersey with all the counties. Now, in some counties, you'll notice that there's a small SBC logos, and that's where our 11 regional centers are located. Regional centers meaning some regional centers serve one county, some serve more than other based on population, services needed, etc. If you'd like to find more and learn more, then please go to NJSBDC.com, which is just the acronym itself, .com, and go to see which county, which regional center serves which county. So all you would have to do is put in your email, your county, and register counseling if needed. Agenda, as always, we have a couple of headlines to go through, then our presentation and the Q&A. In the chat, well, right now we have about 67 people. So I expect to see lots of responses throughout our presentation. We also had lots of registrations. So I do expect to see lots of responses of people coming in, where you're from. Feel free to share, feel free to network. Let us know how you heard about this webinar. What made you attend? If you attended our first webinar of this part 2. Part 1, and yeah, let us know which county from New Jersey you are from, what you do, what your small business is about. If you're sharing messages, please make sure to put it into everyone, not just hosts and panelists, unless of course it's personal or private. All right, so small business headlines of the week. We like to share some things that are going on, whether it's in the community, things that are happening, events or press releases, news articles, things like that. We have 3. I will go through these very, very briefly. The links will be shared in the chat. So just to save everyone's time, going through these very briefly. First is a press release from the SBA. SBA Administrator announces $1 million for grant awardees to expand resources for veteran entrepreneurs. Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Puerto Rico-based grantees to offer new veteran business outreach centers. This, in their short form, they're called VBOCs. So veteran business outreach centers. Let's see, what are the most important? So these announce more than 1 million to these organizations. Like I just mentioned, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Puerto Rico, enhanced training and counseling services for both new and existing veteran and military spouse small business owners. 3 new centers will begin their project periods on September 1st. If you'd like to see which ones they are: business planning, assistance accessing capital, government contracting guidance, marketing and outreach, and transitioning. New Jersey also has a VBOC of its own, or maybe multiple. So if you're interested, just check it out. You can Google it, search it, and it'll come up. All right, NJEDA press release. I just mentioned SBA. This organization is NJEDA, New Jersey Economic Development Authority. Besides NJSBDC, of course, NJEDA is a great resource for small business owners in New Jersey, and one of our most trustworthy and helpful partners. NJEDA issues RFI for apprenticeship training centers and construction grants. All right, let's see. RFI is, excuse me, request for information, seeking insight from qualified entities that provide registered apprenticeship programs and have perspectives on establishing new registered training locations in overburdened communities. So this is just an invite for people to submit information, anything they know, so the project and scope can be understood. Let's see. Okay, renovations, planning, deadlines to submit questions will be 5 p.m. September 9th, 4 days from today, and deadline for responses will be 5 p.m. on September 24th. What, who, when, how, all of that information can be found here. So this link will be shared and you can click on all these hyperlinks here. And last is from NJBIA, New Jersey Business and Industry Association, also a great resource for small business owners. Grants to train green economy workers available. Companies, nonprofits, educational institutions, or other organizations can apply for grants ranging from $250K to $1.5 million to help develop and implement the workforce training for green economy industries in New Jersey. $7 million available, including $2.65 million from the Wind Institute for Innovation and Training. Applications can be found here and are due on October 8th. It is these industries where these services and trainings can be provided. There is more information such as how to submit the proposals, what components of the programs are there, what eligibility requirements are there, etc. So go on this link if you are interested. All right. Here we go. Things to keep in mind. If you have any questions, please put them in the Q&A box, not the chat box. Towards the end of the presentation, we'll have a Q&A session. And if they're in the chat throughout the webinar, most likely they will get lost. So if you have a question, just go to the dedicated Q&A space and put your question there. We'll do our best, to address them. Then we have a brief survey. Please complete the survey if you'd like to receive the slides from our presentation, which is the presentation slides, excuse me. And the webinar is being recorded. The link will be shared in the chat. Let me just quickly go in the chat and see who has said what. We have Deborah, we have Eric, then we have Corey, Annetta, Tara, Jerry, Zach County, Susan, Jennifer, Michelle, Charisse, all right, Miguelina, Delta, Fabian. All right, so we have all these wonderful people joining us today, about 90 plus attendees. So feel free to share your questions, concerns, everything. We have for part 2 of our first SBA federal certifications, we have Jinni joining us again today, who is one of our specialty consultants, unlocking opportunities with DOT and SBA federal certifications. Jinni, welcome. We always love having you here. I will stop sharing. Go ahead, share yours. And we look forward to receiving lots of helpful and wonderful information.
Great, great. Just go over here.
All right, perfect.
All right, great.
I can see you, I can hear you, I can see your screen, so everything's good.
Thank you so much, Isma, and welcome everybody to the second phase of this certification webinar. Before I begin my webinar, I want to just share something with you. I noticed that as Uzma, through her announcements, had given you some RFIs if your request for information, if you have that product or service that opportunity is looking for. The RFIs are very important because it allows the agent who is posting that RFI to see what's out there of what they're looking for in terms of contractors. So those of you who have followed me know that I like to share my tidbits with you, but what it also does is it allows that agent to know who you are. And that is a great thing for you in the event they let that as an RFP, then they're aware of you. And that's a good place to be in if you're looking to generate revenue, identify opportunities, and be seen by these purchasing agents. So that's my commercial break before I go into the second part of this webinar series. We had wanted to do this meaning provide you the two options, because the state space is so important for all of us that are in the state of New Jersey, because that's what we cover. But the federal space is so mysterious at times. And the challenge for me is to invite my clients to not be fearful to apply, to engage, to know more about it, to learn more about it. So we don't have the time today to answer all of the questions that one may have that's in the process. And hopefully I'll be able to do a workshop on it. But my goal today is to introduce you to these federal certifications, what their eligibility requirements are, and how you can participate. I'm like a big proponent of making sure that you have the information you need to identify the right opportunities and the process. The process is completing the documentations. The opportunities exist when you submit them. So I think it's really important that I level this out for us, because I don't want you to not receive what you're expected, but I want you to walk away with the information that you have to know that you too can participate. If you're eligible, if you meet the eligible requirements, even if you're not 100% sure, participate, submit your RFP, submit your application for certification. It's a little different with the certifications, and you'll see. What I'm going over today is the qualifications of the major federal certifications, the benefits that you receive by participating, the process you need to implement, and expanding opportunities. So we're going to start with the Department of Transportation. And this is, it's huge. And I want to add that if you do your search for Department of Transportation, you'll see that there's one in New Jersey, there's one in Florida, there's an office in every state, and they're all federal. None of them are state, they're federal. And so their goal is to ensure that small disadvantaged business enterprises can compete fairly for federally funded contracts. And as I look through this as I think about how this presentation affected me, it affected me in the way that, and hopefully you'll see this, at the end of it, you can participate. It's possible that you could be the recipient of contract because of how the federal government had set it up. Now we have all these challenges with the Fed. Set that aside and look at this presentation for the information that I'm giving to you. So the eligibility for the DOT certification is ownership, disadvantaged business, size, determination, personal net worth, independence, control of the business, and burden of proof, right? So a DBE Unified Certification Program is what you would be applying for. And for first-time applicants, this is what you would need to do. You complete a certification application related to the materials to the certifying agency. You complete the application based on the fact that you have a potential of fulfilling what's required. You should participate in an on-site you'll have to rather participate in an on-site interview conducted by that agency. Always review the document checklist before you submit it. Because if you don't have every required document, your application may be delayed or denied. So you want to make sure that you stay on top of that. Now, the ACDBE Unified Certification Program is the Airport Certified Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Program. And this is really cool because this is for all of you who want to apply for the certification to work on the airport. And in the state of New Jersey, you see how the terminals are just growing. Now I think we're working on improving Terminal B. Well, if you feel as if you have the services to provide to this endeavor, and there's also one through the New York, New Jersey Port Authority, apply for it. Complete and submit the certification application, again, related to materials to the certifying agency. You're going to participate. Oh, my 3 is there. You're going to participate in an on-site interview conducted by that agency. And what's really interesting about these on-site interviews is you should be at the address where you registered the business. And why I'm saying that is because it has to be a brick and mortar. It can't be, you can't meet outside of a UPS because that's your mailing office. So when you register your business, you have to be mindful of these things because it allows you to give a mailing address as well. But when they come for the on-site interview, they want to see where you're actually registered to do business. Again, review the document checklist. Locate the items needed to submit to the agency with a completed application. Sometimes I'm redundant about saying completed application. Why? Because of my experience. When clients come to me after they've submitted it and say, well, I didn't have all the information, I submitted it. Well, I mean, what can I say? You should have waited, gone over the checklist and submitted the application with everything. Commercial break. It's so important for you to have all of your documents together, regardless of what you're applying for. You have your certificates of formation, you have your articles of incorporation, your capability statement. All of those documents should be in an easily identified location in your system, so you can just upload them and put them into the application. And it won't delay you. It won't, it will make you, it will give you a level of comfort that says, you know what, I have everything they're asking for. Let me submit it. Okay. And you also have to think of the individual that's receiving the application. You have to think about what they may be thinking if you submit a partial application. So one of the major questions that I get about the documents that are required is your personal net worth statement. And the questions are centered around, is it just for me? Is it for me and my partner? Who completes this? Well, the person that has majority ownership in the business would complete it, but the information would be based on your personal worth. So most of the questions that I get are centered around individual owners, right? Single member owners who are married. You have to have your spouse's net worth included in these documents. Sometimes that's a deterrent, and I leave that alone. I just tell them, when you're ready, come back, because I don't want to pry. But this is your personal net worth. And some of the other questions that I get are, well, what am I, what does my assets look like? Because so many of us are just starting out, and profit and loss, balance sheets, all those financial statements are new to us. So when we look at our personal net worth, what I wanted you to do is see what they're looking for. They're looking for the cash and a cash equivalent. They want to know what's in your account. They want your investment accounts and individual securities. They want to know what real estate you own. As opposed to on some of the state applications, they're looking at applications for certification now. They're looking at real estate that the business owns. Personal net worth, they want to know what you own. They want to know what your liability really is, right? They're looking at personal property and other assets, ownership in other businesses, which are asked on state applications. So that when you recertify, not on the provisional, but some of those questions you have to be prepared to answer. They're looking at your insurance. What kind of insurance do you have? And they're looking at the amount owed to you. So when you take this step, you want to make sure that you're in a position to answer these questions. And I have had clients that said, you know what, Jen, these are too personal. Well, then this is not for you. I don't want to give up this kind of information. This is not for you. Then when you look at your liabilities, they're looking at your mortgages, not just the mortgage on your house, but on other personal property. They're looking at your loans on life insurance, other liabilities. And other liabilities on the application is listed as just that. But some are retirement assets and primary residence. Okay, so what I'm sharing with you is that to participate in this program, it doesn't take a little bit of seriousness about how you want to grow your business. It takes a lot to divulge this information about your personal life. It takes a lot. And if you're not ready to do it at this stage of your business, then don't participate. But every federal application, to my knowledge, asks for this information. And to hide it would be to your peril, because they'd find out. Because it's a very serious step that you're taking in your business when you're applying for a federal cert. Another federal certification, another certification under the Small Business Administration, because it's the DBE and the ACDBE that are under the Department of Transportation. Now, under the Small Business Administration, we have several others, and I wanted to share them with you. The 8A is like one of the most popular, because people say, this is like 9 years I'm sailing, I'm going to do great. Well, there's a lot that comes with applying for the 8A application and being considered. But the opportunities are vast. So before I went into the eligibilities on this, I wanted to tell you what's so good about it. You compete and receive set aside and sole source contracts. Set aside is a percentage, and sole source means that you, as an economically disadvantaged business, and one other business or several other businesses may have what they're looking for. So they'll create that opportunity for that business, for that entity. That's sole source. Receive one-on-one business development assistance for 9 years. And we need this. You need it now. And that's what the New Jersey Small Business Development Center is all about. But this is particularly focused on the recipients of an 8A. You pursue opportunities for mentorship. It's like, I don't want to say big brother, it's mentorship. It's experts in your field that can provide you with information and processes that will allow you to be successful. The 8A program wants you to be successful. They're not granting you this opportunity so you can put the plaque on your certificate on your wall and tell people that you have it. Because you think this summer's gone fast, not 9 years goes before you know it. You're into the 7th year, which starts to dwindle down, and you look at whether you took advantage of it. So the mentorship program is excellent for it. You connect with procurement and compliance experts. Now, you should be doing a lot of this now, but the program not only offers this, but it provides this, where now you may have to look for it, or use your regional office, or use a consultant to help you find this out. You pursue joint ventures with established businesses to increase capacity. And that's why you're applying. And that's why you want to get it, because you want to complete your revenue stream over the life of your business. Qualify to receive federal surplus property on a priority basis. And you receive free training from a BA Empower to Grow program. And this program is built to make you succeed. But it's not saying that if you don't, it's not on us. Things happen during your 9 years of participating in this program. That's why this is another serious step to take. And in my practice with my partner, we often believe that this may not be the best first step for a federal contract for some businesses, because through our experience with you or them, we see that you may not be ready for this. But there's more. There's a hub zone certification, and what's so interesting to me about this is, and I'm true and I'm honest, people think about hub zone. Where are they? They're in disadvantaged areas. I don't think I'm in that area because I don't think I'm in that area. You would be surprised how many hub zone areas there are in the state of New Jersey. And so that's another reason why I say don't make the decision based on your thoughts. Make the decision based on facts. It's a small business. The qualifications are for small business according to SBA size standards. You can get this. Another thing I want to share with you is that the individual web pages, the Department of Transportation and SBA, I mean, obviously they could put us out of business because they write this, but you're not disappointed when you go. You're not disappointed when you visit these sites because they have so much information. But in some instances, they don't give you the one-on-one guidance that you may need. Just to throw that out there. Be at least 51% owned and controlled by US citizens, a community development organization, an agricultural cooperative, an Alaska Native corporation, a Native Hawaiian organization, or an Indian tribe. And in the state of New Jersey, because there's some other work that I do, I think there's 3 known Indian tribes. And from ones that I'm associated with, I'm always saying take advantage of this. Take advantage of the hub zone opportunity. But it covers businesses that fall into these categories. Have its principal office located in a hub zone. So I can want to watch my time because I could really talk to you guys forever. There was a question about whether like a turnkey, I'm not going to name it, but a turnkey office, well-known office, was in a hub zone area. And people assume that just because they were in a hub zone area, that they wouldn't be qualified for other certifications like 8A or DOT, DBEs, but they were. And it wasn't until we were able to look at the map, even though this well-known, I'm calling it a turnkey, off-site, let me rent an office organization was in a hub zone area, not only was the client eligible for it, but they were also eligible for other opportunities. My point is, don't let yourself, your idea of where you are allow you to make this decision. Do your research. Have at least 35% of your employees living in a hub zone area. Those are the qualifications. So what's the objective? It's to fuel small business growth in historically underutilized business zones with a goal of awarding at least 3% of federal contract dollars to hub zone certified companies each year. Now, 3% could be a lot for a federal contract. Again, don't let the percentage deter you. Look at what it could do for your business and how you could get it each year. the benefits of it, it limits competition for certain contracts to businesses that are in the hub zone. Preferential consideration to those businesses in full and open competition who may not be in the hub zone. It's compete for the program's set-aside contracts. You receive a 10% price evaluation preference in full and open contract competitions. And let me just add something here also. As business owners, we should do evaluations on our businesses periodically so we know how much they're worth. But sometimes, because we're in it so often and not on it, we don't always see the value of our businesses. So this is a good business practice for you. And you can still compete for contract awards under other socioeconomic programs that you qualify for. So this is just another plus for those who are eligible under SBA. So what are the eligibility requirements? You must have a SAM.gov. And the link is external in the account. But for those of you who have not registered with SAM yet, it's another opportunity for you. Do it. Because you're going to need it down the road, and you should have it anyway. Register for an SBA Connect account and request access to the HubZone portal. Now, I'm telling you the process now. Apply for HubZone certification in the HubZone portal. And you will get this. You will get this webinar, the PowerPoint. If you fill out the survey, you'll get it. So you'll have this. But it's really important for you to know the steps, because sometimes I get confused on what's on first base, who's on third base. I get confused about it. So it's important for you to know the steps, because sometimes the portals aren't user-friendly and you'll time out while you're thinking about it. But you log into SBA Connect and select HubZone before completing the prompts. And then what's important is that you check your email, because you'll get a time-sensitive email that will give you further instructions, which will also verify your application within 2 business days. So your mind should be set on, I'm going to finish this, and then I'm going to go to my email. And that's why it's another point. That's why it's so important also to make sure that all your contact information is up to date. If you move, if you went from Yahoo to Gmail to your own to your own business name for your email, you have to make sure that all of these agencies are aware of that, because they're going to say, I sent it to the last known address. And I don't want you to be left out because of an administrative snafu. So you want to make sure that your email address is correct. Verify your application within 2 business days. Submit all requested documentation within 2 business days. And it won't be reviewed until all required documents are submitted. And what it's not saying is the clock is ticking. So another best practice, I think, is for you to make sure that when you're completing these applications, that you're doing it in an area that works best for you to think. So take the time to do it, because your business may depend on it. This may be the opportunity for you. And you don't want to be in the position where the afterthought is, oh, here's a certificate of formation. You want to make sure that you have all your documents together. And that's for all of them. It's for all of them. So, provisional documents. These are under the recertification process as well. So what I also wanted to share with you is that there are other programs that we have, because these particular programs are dealing with certification, but there are other programs that we have under Hub Zone and 8A that I wanted to share. And those are the women-owned small business federal contract programs. And what that is, that's the WOSB. And it does not seem to be here. I don't really want to look for it like that. I want to take you through it. Let me just check. Yeah. So let me tell you about the woman-owned small business. The objective of that program is to award at least 5% of all contracting dollars to women-owned small businesses each year. That's 5% WOSB. Its objective is to award at least 5% of all federal contracting. The government limits the competition for certain contracts to businesses that participate in the WOSB federal contracting program. It makes businesses eligible to compete for reserved WOSB certified firms. Now, yes, this is for women-owned businesses. It is providing women-owned businesses with this opportunity to be a major player as a participant in this business, as a participant and a recipient of this certification. But what's also very important is that it allows women-owned businesses, because there's another part of this, but it allows women-owned businesses to compete on a playing field that we as women, as this gender, has not been able to compete on. So in our firm, we invite our businesses, our women-owned businesses, to apply for a WOSB, or if eligible, an economic, it's called the Economically Disadvantaged Women-Owned Small Business. It's the EDWOSB. We encourage them to apply for that prior to an 8A, because it has so much to offer, not the 9 years, but it prepares you for it. And I think that's the most important thing. It's for the economically disadvantaged women-owned small business. Its contracts are also restricted to that population, and women manage the day-to-day operations who also make long-term decisions. And one of the questions that my clients also offer is the requirements, especially if it's 51% owned women-owned business, or it's 50-50, or if it's a 51-49%. What the certifying agencies are looking for is the person who has the vested interest in the business, has the not the opportunity, but the responsibility to be the overall manager of that business, or the management of the business. So when it's a 50-50 women, if it's a 50% women-owned business, then you determine who has the responsibility to do things. But once you're applying as a woman-owned business, the government wants to make sure that you demonstrate that you have the controlling interest in the business. And I'm going to get the appropriate slides to you, but it doesn't matter, because the most important thing to me is for you to get the information. So the WOSB is very, very popular. It's one of the Small Business Administration's popular programs. And we're very honest to the point that, in looking at the overall business, what would best you. We don't deter you from applying for an 8A, but we ask you to consider it, okay? So what are the eligibility requirements for the WSB? It's that you have to be a small business by definition of SBA. You have to have 51% owned and controlled by women who are also US citizens. Women manage the day-to-day, like I said, and who also make the long-term decisions of how the business is going to operate. And the eligibility requirements for the EDWOSB, the business must meet all the requirements of the WOSB federal contract compliance, must be owned and controlled by one or more women, each with a personal net less than $850,000. Owned and controlled by one or more women, each with $400,000 or less, is adjusted gross income averaged over the previous 3 years. So when, and total honesty to all of you, when I think about our clients and how they're nowhere near this, but what it is this incentive to grow your business so you can participate in this program, because these numbers aren't coming from out of the sky. There are women-owned businesses who are generating this kind of revenue and who are participating. So for the women-owned businesses that are out there, take this as an incentive to grow your business so you can participate in these programs, be the recipient of some federal contracts so you can continue to grow your business, make it a legacy business to your family, or continue to generate revenue so you can stay in this game. I mean, I think that, especially when I talk to our clients, because this would have been the end of the presentation anyway. When I talk to our clients about the significant making the decision of participating in these opportunities, I'm going to go back to these, especially in the Department of Transportation, the DBEs. When I talk to them about this and they're eligible and ready, because whoever you're talking to about this, hopefully you have a relationship with them. What do you have to lose? I mean, the opportunities in participating in these businesses. And in all fairness, because I'm open, I'm very open, there was a time where I didn't think the opportunities were great for small businesses, minority-owned businesses, because I just looked at the weight of doing these of participating in these programs. And then I started thinking about the opportunities of how they're segmented for us to achieve and be successful. When you pivot your thought on why it's important to participate in these opportunities, think about sole sourcing and what that does to small businesses that share similar services or products, and where the government, who has sole sourcing program, says, well, I'm going to create something just for these businesses. We don't always get those opportunities, and we want to make sure that they exist. And when you think about set-aside programs, that is a percentage of dollars that the government sets aside for individual businesses. I'm not going to use protected class, but individuals. And I wanted to share with you what those percentages are. And it's really a summary of this presentation as well. But for the hub zone, the set aside is 3% of the overall contract. For WOSB, it's for 5%. It's 5%. For the disadvantaged, it's 5%. And for the economically disadvantaged, it's 5% also. And so being perfectly honest, I said, 5% of a billion gazillion dollars, what is that? But that's 5% of millions that you might not have gotten because you don't apply. So I want to leave you with this. There is everything right with taking the step to participate in this activity. There's everything right. If you are ready and you determine that, but I'm giving you some examples where you can confirm that you're ready, like having all your documents in order. Look at how other certified businesses under these federal certifications have been not treated, but how they've grown. Now, I'm not saying that 100% of them who have these certifications are doing well or are still in business. I can't say that, but I know the ones that we work with and we recommend to our clients to take a peek at have done well because this is what they were dedicated to do. They applied because they wanted to be successful. That's why they applied. They wanted to make sure that they wanted to have a long business shelf life for their company. And it's not for everyone, but it doesn't hurt to participate. It doesn't hurt to apply. And I also want to add one other opportunity. There are federal opportunities for veterans. I'm really feeling veterans now. Department of Veterans Affairs Center for Verification and Evaluations also allows participants from firms certified by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs for verification and evaluation to participate in federal programs. So for you vets that are out there, it's there as well. I want to thank you so much. I am going to bring my screen back over. I can get it over. And I'm going to stop sharing. And Uzma, I think we can take some questions.
All right, perfect. Okay, so right before we get into a Q&A session, Jinni, I'll just reshare a couple of reminders. But before that, thank you so much for the presentation. We appreciate it, as always. And we have lots of questions to go through, so I'll keep it very brief. But just reminders are that the webinar is being recorded. It has been recorded since the very beginning. So if you missed maybe in the middle, if you have to go and then want to see the Q&A session, just go to our YouTube channel. The link has been shared for the YouTube channel, but you can just go to YouTube, type NJSBDC State Office or just NJSBDC and you'll find us. And all you have to do is go through our webinars and find the correct one. Part 1 has been uploaded there. Part 2, this will go on in a couple of days. I would say 1 to 2 business days, it'll be available. If you'd like to receive the slides that Jinni just shared, they won't be emailed to you, but if you complete our survey, then it will be shown on your screen once you complete it. And those are all my reminders, but let's just quickly go through the questions. We're doing good with time, so if anything comes up, then we'll be good. All right, Vanita says, if my business is registered in Delaware and registered in New Jersey as a foreign corp, am I eligible for help?
Yes, she is. Because these are federal contracts, they're not state contracts. So federal Delaware is are you operating out of New Jersey? Oh, well, she's eligible for a federal contract. And another thing I want to share with you is that, for a workshop, we could go into more detail. So the questions that I'm not sure of, I'm going to let you know. And then I'll want you to reach out with me and I'll reach out to me and I'll be able to answer the questions. Okay? Because this is not a workshop. Um,
Okay, so Vanita, if you're still here and can answer the question, then let us know, follow up, but otherwise, register for counseling. Okay, Anetta asks, from Allstate Shipping and Trucking, she has a question. Okay, so Anetta applied for the SBE
mhm.
certification in early May and was granted the certification on May 24th. However, the MWBE certification has not been approved to date. Can you kindly check this out for me? Thank you.
Sure. She's in the state of New Jersey.
I'm assuming so, yes.
Okay. So you automatically get your SBE as soon as you register. And the state office has been so inundated with applications. But if you also applied for the MWBE the same day that you applied and you haven't received it, something happened. I can honestly say that because I work with them every day. And my question to you is, did you get an additional information email? Look into your email, look into spam to see if you got a UI, an AI from them, which requested more information from you because you should have received your MWBE by now. And the challenge to all of this is that if it was in May, they usually give you 30 days to respond. So if you'd like, why don't you request counseling from me? And let me see what I can do. Okay, request counseling.
Got it. Next question is from Susan. Where do we find out about the bidding information?
Bidding information?
Yes.
Well, that's so broad because you bid on RFPs or contracts that exist. So you want to know how to look for contracts, right? And so we always encourage people to register with njstart.gov because that's like our anchor. But we also encourage people to go directly to the different agencies and type in contract information. There are also other agencies. Don't go to a .com because you're going to have to pay. But there are other organizations and agencies that can provide that information to you. And you want to make sure that you're specific in your ask, right? When you're looking for contracts, that they meet your NACE code, right? Because that's what's really going to drive it in so many areas. And that you're prepared to respond to the RFP, or if it's a contract, prepared to respond to it. And that's when you want to have all your information together, including a capability statement. But I have also found, again, that the government agencies are so helpful when it comes to contracts and information about contracts. So I would go on the government agency.
Got it. Okay. Next question is from Song. Does this certification benefit small business for application grant of bidding opportunities from other federal agencies such as NIH?
Do these certifications
Benefit the small businesses for application grant of bidding opportunities from other agencies such as NIH?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I mean, it's a federal, I'm pretty sure NIH is, this is why I don't like to
It's a
go.
federal agency.
It's a federal agency. So I would go to the NIH website and I'd see what was available. And another thing too, because I like best practices. I think that once you're interested in a particular agency, then you find out who the purchasing agent is in that agency who handles your goods and services. And so, and I mean, it seems like sometimes it seems like a no-brainer to me because I'm in the business, but it's a step up for you for others who search and search and search.
Got it. Next question. Is there a upward limit that would prevent you from being certified?
An upward limit. It wouldn't prevent you from being certified. It may because of your organizational structure or economic advantage or disadvantage, limit the percentage, but it's not going to stop you from participating. The only time that I've seen companies who have not been granted an SBE is when they made more than their status. When their revenue or their tax statement showed more, they showed they made more than their status in SBE. Otherwise, you're going for 3%, you're 3 to 5%, and you have to fall into those categories. Other than that, you apply. And you'll see it in the instructions.
Okay. Farhana asks, for personal net worth, is there an income or network, excuse me, let me repeat that. For personal net worth, is there an income/net worth maximum or minimum at all to be considered for certification?
So that's very interesting because now on the recertification applications, for the state of New Jersey, they're asking for personal net worth questions, but it depends on your status. If you don't fall into those economic categories that I stated, if you're above it, then yes, you may not be eligible for those certifications. But you look at it first. Don't self-eliminate yourself. Okay. Look at your net worth, and after you complete the statement, and then come to SBDC or go to a business consultant and have them tell you whether you exceed that. And if you do, I'm happy for you, because you're making a lot of money and I'm very happy for you. But don't let your preconceived ideas of doing great self-eliminate yourself from the opportunity.
All right, next question is from Anetta. Does one have to have full-time employees in order to be qualified for the 8A program?
Yes, you do.
Okay. Fabian asked, I am a trucking company specialized in transportation and disposal of hazardous material and non-hazardous material. How can I get more opportunities to work as a subcontractor?
As a subcontractor?
Mhm.
That's what she asked. I would look to see what primes were awarded the contracts. This is across the board because primes need subcontractors. And I would make a pitch to that prime. I would find out who was responsible for the contract and I would make a pitch to them. Now, you also want to make sure that you attend pre-bid hearings, because that also allows you to see who's bidding on them and your name's on the list. And that's when primes look for subcontractors. So again, you don't want to self-eliminate yourself. And all of this requires time and attention. It requires time and attention.
Yep. Also a question from Fabian is, how can I evaluate my business?
You evaluate your business. Well, there's a formula that you can use and that I can provide to you because it's detailed. If you reach out, I can provide a formula to you to do an evaluation on your business.
Okay. Can we hear about testimonials, how the certifications actually changed people's lives significantly?
You want to hear a testimonial?
but
Which one's
the
here?
anonymous, yes, would like
Okay,
to, or is
so,
there a website or something that we can direct them to for these?
well, I mean, you can find them online. You can find them online, but I can just give you an example of how cleaning companies who had a small staff and participated in what was major for them to try to participated in a bidding process, won the bid, and it allowed them to not only sustain the cleaning business that they had, but open other cleaning services throughout the state. Now, sometimes that's your dream. Other time it's a gift presented to you because you participated in a bidding process. Or you won this contract. I mean, I can think of many companies, even small contracts that allowed them to grow their business, whether they added on services, which also allowed them to add on employees, which they had started their business with independent contractors, and now they participate in a larger picture with the federal government because they're adding employees on, which gives them benefits with the Department of Labor. I mean, it just there's a trickle down effect to being the successful winner and just being a part of it, just being a part of the bidding process. Because, like I said before, prime contractors are looking for subs, especially if they're not in our state. If they're bidding on a contract in California or New Jersey, but it's not big enough for them to open up an office, they look for a subcontractor.
Next question is from Asad, who asks, what if the businesses are new and do not have the P&L statements? Would it disqualify them?
Yes.
Okay.
And so for some of the applications, you've got to be in business for a length of time. It's not like, our state application right now, there's no eligibility qualifier for how long you've been in business. But on the Fed side, you have to be in business for a number of years.
Got it. Next question is from Jerry. Are there other set-aside programs for women-owned and or minority-owned small businesses that are not disadvantaged?
Yeah, and this is like so cliched, but you can Google them as well. You can Google women-owned opportunities for small businesses. And there, I hate to say it, and there are private certifications, and I want to make sure that I answer this question correctly. There are private certifications for women that really address those opportunities in general. And so often their participants consist of minorities and non-minorities. But there are private certifications for that purpose as well.
All right. Next question is from Tariq. Tariq says, my wife is Egyptian American. Can she submit as minority certification? He thinks it falls under Arab and or other classification.
Right. Is she a US citizen? I mean, see, this is why I don't like to really get into these questions. Let me just say this. You notice that on the WSB, it said US citizen. Egyptians, by dint of being Egyptians, are not eligible for state certifications. Okay, they're not. But by dint of a gender, you are, but not based on an ethnicity or race. If that answers his question. So as a woman, unless it says US citizen only, you can apply.
Got it. Next question is from Deborah. I applied for the SAM. I'm assuming the registration. I applied for the SAM registration. Is there an email or notification that lets you know that you have gotten it?
I've brought my allergies with me. So what's so cool about most of these, excuse me, is once you apply, they send you emails about your status. We've received your application. You should be waiting for your UEI number. You should be waiting for your cage code. And that's why it's so important for you to stay on top of your email once you apply. So there may be an email waiting for you. Excuse me.
Got it. So email notifications should be expected.
Mhm.
Let's see, I'm just quickly going through the chat to see if we have anything. All right, we'll go through that later. Maria asks, if we have already received MWBE and SBE, do we need to register separately or to be part of women's own business enterprise?
No, they're separate. They're separate certifications. And you don't need an MWBE with the state to apply. I mean, it's not incestuous. They're individual applications. And my advice is to ensure that you know how you're going to maximize your business with each certification.
Next question is from Anita. Anita says, I had the same issue as Aneta. I did not hear anything back from my submission for the MWBE since late July. How long would you suggest that it takes? And before accepting, it was denied.
Well, July isn't that far away for them because it could be 6 weeks, right? And so we're into September now. And I know for New Jersey is they've added auditors, which means that, you know, they have to be trained. And you can always check on your status using the same, if you use the right URL, you can check on your uniform certification status and it will tell you what the status is. And you can also, I'm going to try this. You can also call 609, this is in New Jersey, 292-2146 and check on your application. 609-292-2146.
This is with which organization?
No, this is for state or
Oh,
because I made an assumption that the last question was based on the New York State MWBE.
okay,
And if it is, then that's the number you could call to
got it.
find out what the status is.
Putting it in the chat, 609-292-2146.
Thanks, Esma.
Perfect. Put that in the chat. Next question is from Asad. I have received my UEI number from Sam, but yet to get the cage. The UEI was assigned in early August, but not sure how to follow up on getting the cage. Would you please guide?
My guide is to wait. I chuckle and if my partner's on, she'll know. She'll chuckle also because you're on their time. I think that's the best way to say it. To go in and ask, and we've done it all. You're on their time, and this just sounds so glib, but they'll send it when they've done their due diligence. So it's not like they've forgotten. And we're so impatient because we want to get it going on. They want to make sure that everything is ready before they send you their age code.
Have you noticed a timeline usually, like, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks?
I think there was one client that was so mad at it. I mean, they told her to wait like 9 weeks and it was months. Also because of things that are going on the Fed side as well.
All right, next question is from Robin. How do I get How do I get contacts from my diagnostic lab that I have in Woodbury, New Jersey? Do I need to be certified? Am I in a disadvantageous area?
What is the question?
How do I get contacts from my diagnostic lab?
I don't understand the
Maybe contracts is what they
oh,
meant.
contracts. Um, are they certified?
Uh, that's one of the questions. Do I need to be certified?
No, I mean, certifications to me are such a gift for small businesses. But there are businesses that aren't certified that get contracts. But if you have a set aside or a sole source that's available to you, why not be certified? That's how I look at it. So you can also go on njstart.gov. You don't have to be certified. For some, you have to, but you don't have to be certified.
Okay, Robin
These are
followed up and said,
programs.
no, I am not certified.
I would be certified. Is it a woman-owned business?
Uh,
This is where we get in the weeds. I
yeah,
would be certified. I would be certified. But I'd also look into what's available for my business, what contracts are available. And if you're in diagnostics, I don't know what it is, but if you work with hospitals, see if hospitals use your service, see if medical centers use them. Um, see if consulting firms that are in your business use your services. Look at it that way.
got it. And they are a women-owned business.
I would be certified. And it's very interesting because if you go to many of the business sites and you search, I'm interested in doing business with you and I'm a woman-owned business, they will ask you if you're certified. Because it is not only is it a gift, but it is good for the prime to have a business that's certified. And for some of these for many of the government contracts, they must use certified minority or women-owned businesses.
Okay. Um, Jenny asked, would it be preferable to apply for the certification before end of the year so it wouldn't roll over to the next year, right?
Um, if it's the first time, the provisional is from 1 year. It's just for 1 year. So it really doesn't matter when you apply. And if you're recertifying, then it's for 5 years based on your anniversary, which would be the date you applied. So the dates really don't affect you.
Got it. Next question is from Michelle. Did you say that the personal net worth must include the spousal information as well, such as salary, investments, etc.?
Yes.
Okay. Next question is from Jessica. I own a party service / rental. I am currently working on getting certified for minority woman owned. My question is, are there federal contracts out there for businesses like mine and where can I find it?
For so look at it this way. The federal and state governments they hold parties and receptions and they do, I'm responding from a general standpoint based on what you told me your business does. So you research, you do your research, but think about in your local municipality or city, if an agency is in your city, do they have parties? Do they offer any kind of reception? Do they offer anything that they would need your service? I mean, that's how granular I make my clients reach. Who in your area would need your service? And then you take it to another level. What government agency may need your service? And it's so interesting because do some teaching at Rutgers in the fall, and I think about how Rutgers uses so many small businesses, and so many of them are certified, because I've certified them, and how Rutgers has a really robust minority, women-owned program and certification. So, you think about what's close to you in terms of who could use your business. Chamber of Commerce could use your business. Who's in the Chamber of Commerce? Oh, businesses. What businesses, number of businesses do business with the federal government? And you just start to decode all of the things that your business is about, and then you make the decision of whether it's worth it. To be certified, but it's what's more important is that you're looking for clients. You're looking for clients because you're going to need to also in your application give some kind of example the kind of clients you have. For state certifications, when you recertify, you have to give a list of clients. So focus on growing your business and then looking at the contracts, the federal or state contracts that might be interested to you. And what comes to mind for me, what comes to mind for me is I have a client who has a translation business, and she was like, how am I going to, who needs translations? How do I work this? How do I look for clients? And I went to a state university's webpage that listed the opportunities for businesses, and they're looking for a translator right there. So it's really looking at your business, not from where you are right now, but where you want to be. That's why it's good to have a business plan. I don't always suggest, that, but for many, it's good to have a business plan. So you have an idea of where you want to go, because that's in the business plan.
All right, next question is from Roxana. I have a learning center. Which is the best way to apply for a certification? I also have an SBA account.
You have an SBA account?
SBA account.
Okay. Well, you can apply with SBA and you can also apply with the state. I mean, there's no limit. It's what you want to do with both. I mean, one thing that has always fascinated me about SBA is just how big it is. It's, there's no limit. And then I think about those clients who have a goal, and their goal may not be the world. Their goal may be just to sustain a business that will take care of my business needs and my family. I have clients like that who don't want to work for anyone else but themselves. Then they make different kinds of business decisions. And that's the kind of, if you're going to a consultant, those are the kinds of questions that you ask them. Because big business isn't for everybody. And you don't want to be in the category where you find out that it's not for you and you're so deep in it, you go, well, maybe I should get out, but I can't. And not to say that you get there anyway, but the due diligence includes answering those questions.
All right, we have about 2 more questions.
Okay.
Entering this one, we'll have 2 more. So we'll conclude with those 2. Srinath asks, I have minority-owned advertising business. What opportunities do I have for billboard ads?
I mean, are you certified? If he's certified, I don't have to know. But your opportunity is going to a company like Gannett or people who own the billboards and say, this is what we do. Could you use our services? You find out who the person is who makes those decisions. You get your book together of the kinds of things that you could offer them, and you pitch. You pitch the business to them.
Okay, next question is from Jerry. Is there a preferred order for which certifications you apply for first?
There isn't. And that's where your business comes in. If you're in New Jersey and you're currently doing business, right, in New Jersey and you're not certified, I would start out with my state certification. And that doesn't mean you can't go to other states and be certified. Like New York businesses are certified in New Jersey as a foreign company. And I think somebody else mentioned that with Delaware. I mean, your state certification can have rippling effects in other states, because what it's saying is that the state of New Jersey vetted your business, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing that the state of New Jersey vetted your business. But it depends on what you want to do, where you want to take the business. And you ask yourself questions like, if I get a contract, am I ready for all the things that come along with that contract? Right? Workers' compensation, unemployment insurance. You may have to add on space, or you may have to include in your handbook that now people are going remote. I mean, there are all of these things that are added to business growth that comes from, I got the contract, yay. Oh, now what do I do? You have to think of, am I ready as a small business owner to become a larger business owner and not have that kind of relationship with my employees? There's going to be a middle person between me and my employees. Oh, what happened? Sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't.
Got it.
These are really interesting questions. I mean, we don't get these kind of questions all the time. They're exhausting.
Yeah. And that concludes our Q&A session, actually, Jinni.
Okay.
We're done with the two that we said. Everyone thanks you for your information, great information as always. And let me now share my screen and we can conclude. Okay, so these, excuse me, I just heard an Jinni, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm getting feedback from your end. With
my audio.
That's okay, thank you. So on the screen, you're seeing njsbdc.com for our audience. This is our homepage. This is the website that we always direct all our clients to. The first thing that you'll see when you visit the page are these two red buttons that will say request counseling. If you are interested in speaking to Jinni or speaking to a consultant for any other small business related matter, please put in your email, select the county that you're from in New Jersey, and request counseling. There will be a small application sort of registration process. All you have to do is just put in your information, your demographics, what you are in need of. If you are asking to speak to Jinni specifically, put in the prompt area, in that space that you attended this webinar, you'd like to speak to Jinni, get counseling from her. Otherwise, if you put a general just a general description, then you will be directed to an appropriate consultant. All right, so just going through quickly to this website, I think you should just take a minute or two out of your day to just go through our website really quickly. We have featured posts such as blogs. We have our upcoming events all listed here. For example, this one's from today. Then we have, of course, our testimonials, but also one of the most important things is one of the toolkits that we have here. At the moment, okay, it is available. So this is a resource hub, but there's also a toolkit. This just includes the links for so many organizations, so many, whether it's federal resources, state resources, local resources, we have them all here. Everything is in one space, so they're all hyperlinked as well. So you just have to go and click on them, explore, and see what is applicable to you. The next thing that I do want to show is this. So you go to events, go to NJSBDC Small Business Webinars. You will be directed to our YouTube page, which is right here. So, and then the main page is this, the NJSBDC. So our link will be in youtube.com/NJSBDC. This is where today's recording will be available. Part 1 has been uploaded over here, and you'll find it there. Okay, and this next thing is statewide events. This is a page where all our entire network's page events are available. So whether it is in English or Spanish, it will say the date, whether it's online or in person, whether it's free or it is at a fee, what's the topic of the webinar or in-person event. So you can find out exactly which it is. This is not exclusively NJSBDC small business webinars. This is from our entire network. If you remember earlier, from the regional centers that I mentioned that are throughout the state. So you can filter this through the locations, filter this through the topics, format, which is live or in person, etc. All right, so that is what I just wanted to quickly show you. And one more thing, the webinars or events that we offer in English and Spanish, for Spanish speaking consultants, if you'd like to speak to one, just let us know, request a Spanish speaking consultant, and we'll be able to help you with that as well. All right, we've done a Q&A. So done with that. Upcoming webinars, Thursday on September 12th, NSF SBIR CTR overview, securing funding for national health and defense. Unlock the potential of these SBIR CTR grants to propel scientific and national progress. So this is a very niche topic. This is for the innovators in New Jersey who are interested in SBIR SCTR grants. This is a very competitive program. This is a very competitive space. If you're interested, if you know someone who is interested, attend this webinar or refer this to them, and we hope to see you there. We have helped many small businesses grow in the 45 years that we've been in existence. No cost small business consulting, training and events starting at $0, exclusive small business resources. Thank you so much for attending. We hope that you attend many more of our webinars, and we hope to see you next time. Thank you, Jinni. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Bye.